When I started changing this, my relationship with women changed almost overnight. I was experiencing much more sex, much more passion, much more fulfillment in my life. What's up, guys? I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life. If you want to learn more about sexual and self-mastery, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified when I go live and release new videos. Make sure you get my free ejaculation control course through the link in the video description below. In this video, you're going to learn the patterns that are keeping you from being more masculine in your personality, in your relationships with the world, and are really holding you back from experiencing more sex, more passion, more fulfillment in all areas of your life. If you implement what I'm going to share in this video, I guarantee you're going to see some significant changes in all areas of your life. Women don't want beta males. It's the truth. And I know this can be kind of a triggering topic. This could be kind of a triggering thing for men to hear. It can get them into the mindset of like competition and competing with other men and not feeling good enough and all these things. And I hear you guys because, I've been through this as well. But the reality of the situation is men are more feminine than ever and women are becoming more masculine than ever. And what this is causing, I'm not to say that this is right or this is wrong. I believe that everyone should be able to be whoever they want to be, express themselves however they want to express. But the problem is that this pattern is very commonly sabotaging and ruining people's relationships, absolutely destroying intimacy, polarity, and sexual pleasure. There's less sex happening in the world than ever before. There's more infertility, there's more divorces, breakups. Human sexuality is turning from intimacy and love and connection into sitting at home on your computer with a fleshlight and a VR hookup. You know what I mean? This is the future of human sexuality, one that is very disconnected and has no life in it. So I want to share with you guys just a little bit about my own journey with this. Like a lot of men growing up in the 90s, I didn't have very strong masculine influences in my life. I had a really, really great father, loved my dad, awesome guy, but he was not there a lot. He was very busy. He's a farmer. He was always out working. And so I spent the majority of my time with my mom. My mom raised me a lot more than my dad did. I had 3 sisters. Most of my teachers were women in school. So I had a very, very strong feminine influence, like most men in the world today do. And this led me to basically learn how to please women, but not the way you think, not the way it sounds like how to please women. Basically, it turned me into a people pleaser. What I did not learn was how to be an assertive, decisive, confident, driven man, to be unafraid to express myself, to be unafraid to be bold, to not care what other people think about me. I did not learn these skills growing up, right? I mean, to some extent, I had these things. Looking back on it, I was actually very masculine when I was about 13 years old. I was always like talking back to teachers. I didn't agree with their ideas and opinions, and I was very vocal about it. But after enough trips to the principal's office, after enough phone calls home to my parents, after enough kind of shaming and disappointment and I can't believe how terrible you are, I started to really shut down. I developed social anxiety. I started becoming very afraid of like what I was saying, what people were hearing me say, what people were thinking about me. My self-esteem and confidence really tanked, and I started to become a people pleaser. I started to, be really afraid of like creating conflict or a differing opinion from people around me. I would mold my behavior based on what I thought other people wanted me to be like. I was always trying to get the girls to like me, like, well, I just need to be this nice guy that they like and make sure I go out of my way to please them and all these things, right? These typical patterns that a lot of us men develop because we think, oh, if I make her like me, if I'm really nice to her, if I do things for her, she must like me, right? But why do we have the stereotype of like girls always go for the asshole, right? They always go for the douchebag. Because to some extent, this is what women find attractive, the wild, untamed masculine. Women are very attracted to a man who is unpredictable, maybe a little bit dangerous. A man who they feel like they cannot control and tame, right? The wild, alpha masculine male. And again, maybe alpha is kind of a triggering word for some people, but just the wild, untamed, bold, independent man. That is what women find very attractive. And a big challenge for me was, being in a long-term relationship, just to share, a more personal story here, was that the intimacy and the passion in my relationship started to dry up a little bit. We loved each other. We really enjoyed each other's company, but like just the excitement and the passion, the polarity that we used to have was changing, right? It wasn't quite there as much. This is what really led me to study what I'm talking about here, to really understand why this was happening. And what I realized was that I was starting to take on a more passive role in my relationship as a man. I was becoming more indecisive. I'm like, well, I don't know, what do you want to do? Rather than creating excitement and intimacy through like pure presence and seduction, I was just being like, well, do you want to have sex with me? Oh, come on, let's have, you know what I mean? This pattern that men get into in long-term relationships where we become comfortable. Basically, the dating period starts to end. When you think back on how was I when I was first dating this woman. It's a very different dynamic. I didn't feel like my partner owed me anything. I didn't feel like I was entitled to anything. I knew I had to work for it, right? If I wanted to have sex with her, I had to seduce her. I had to connect her, open up her body, open up her heart, open up her spirit, right? It's easy to just get in a routine with things in long-term relationships, basically. So once I started realizing how I'd kind of stepped out of my masculinity, and again, it was something that, to be honest, was never super strong in my life to begin with. Once I started really focusing on this, and how I did this personally was, first of all, understanding what I'm talking about. I started reading books about masculinity. Some of my favorites are No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, The Masculine in a Relationship by G.S. Youngblood, and a lot of the work of David Data really helped me see like, wow, I am a nice guy. I'm being a little beta male bitch. I'm not being strong. I'm not being firm, confident, decisive, telling my partner, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do Tuesday night. Be ready at this time. I was like asking for sex, kind of dilly-dabbling around having sex. Well, if I touch her shoulder, give her a little back rub, then, even I'm not telling her I want sex, but maybe she'll just want to have sex with me and ask me to have sex with her. No, learning how to seduce, learning how to be in that masculine presence, say, baby, let me touch your body, baby. We're gonna do this. I mean, I'm being silly with this, but like seriously though, that just being in that masculine, firm wildness and doing more things outside of my relationship, right? This was another problem, is we simply spent too much time together. It kills polarity when you spend all day, every day with your partner. And being the fact that we both work at home and live together, I had to learn how do I create more space in our relationship? So, for me, spending more time hanging out with other men, having solo trips, going on my own adventures, brings it back into that dynamic of when you were dating. It's like, when you're there 24/7, like you're paying bills together, you're raising kids together, it's very easy for them simply to become your roommate. So start making other things in your life a priority as well. There's nothing more unattractive to a woman than a man who has no purpose in his life, who's just floating around, sitting on the couch, playing video games, drinking beer, eating potato chips, saying, hey, I think we should have sex. It's been 2 weeks, Sex is not something that anyone ever owes you. It's something that you must earn. And it's easy to have the expectation, well, I'm paying rent, I'm paying for food, all these things. You should have sex with me. So it becomes this logical kind of like contractual thing, like you were obligated to have sex with me. That mindset and that kind of like argumentativeness with it is guaranteed to kill intimacy and desire in your relationship. So a few practical steps that I recommend with this are to really step into your masculinity. Number one, stop becoming a people pleaser. Stop doing things and saying things based on trying to, please the people around you, basically. Learn to be unafraid to speak your mind. If something's wrong, say, hey, I don't agree with this. This is crossing my boundary. I'm not okay with this. Yes, it's going to create more conflict in your life. And that brings us to the next point. Don't avoid conflict. Now, I don't think you should go out of your way to create conflict. A lot of men kind of get into this extreme as well, where they're like constantly trying to create conflict with their partner. Practice being unafraid of conflict. If someone around you is crossing your boundary, fucking tell them. If your partner is doing something that is very inappropriate, or again, is crossing what you feel are the boundaries of your relationship, tell them and say, hey, I am not okay with this, and I'm not gonna put up with this. This is another thing, is like men who are in very toxic relationships, anyone who's in a toxic relationship, some sort of poor behavior, like the partner's cheating on them, or they're like, being super flirty with other guys, and the person's not okay with that. By allowing that to happen constantly, you are enabling that behavior. So you have to say, hey, I'm not okay with this. If you continue to do this, I'm not going to be in a relationship with you. And you have to stick to that, right? Start spending more of your time doing things that are difficult, doing things that take time and effort and skill. Going to the gym, lifting weights, going out and hiking, learning a musical instrument, taking a martial arts class. Something that's developing that discipline and that strength within yourself is going to really help you step into your masculine. Spend time with other men. Probably one of the most important things is that I found when I'm not spending time with other men, it's harder for me to connect to my masculinity. When I am spending time with other men, I feel more masculine. And when I come back to my partner, my relationship, she feels more attracted to me because I'm in that young, higher testosterone level. It's shown that when men spend time around other men, their testosterone increases. And a lot of the nice guys, the men who grew up with a very strong connection to the feminine, poor connection to their dads, had this competition mindset towards other men. They are always like judging other men and not allowing themselves to become close to other men out of friendship. And this is a pattern that's guaranteed to keep you in more of a feminine beta male state. So I know I've shared a lot in this video already, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, but man, this work is so important, especially for the tragic mess of humanity of this world currently. Men need to step back into their masculinity. If you're experiencing a lack of passion, a lack of sex, a lack of intimacy, a lack of excitement in your life, you're probably a nice guy. So it's time to look at this, be like, am I ready to take action on this and make a change in your life? Let me know if you guys want me to share more videos on this subject of masculinity and really owning your masculine power. Just tell me in the comments you want to own your masculine power, and I'll start making more videos on this subject. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.